What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we got something super exciting, guys, because guess what? We're lifting this truck. I'm probably not going to do this all today. I'm probably going to take it over the course of 2 days, but we're at least going to knock the back out on this truck today, which should be no problem. Speaking of lift kits, you got a 14 Ram 2500 to an 18 Ram 2500. I have a Zone 6.5-inch lift for sale. If someone doesn't buy it, it will anchor puppies for weeks to come. Dude, you kind of wrapped yourself up there. That's not my fault. Which, I mean, kind of works out, but still, kind of want to get it out of the garage. So today we're actually going to be lifting this truck. I'm going to move it over just a bit so I can get under the rear end and knock that out. Rear ends on these trucks are super simple. I'm just going to move you this way a bit for now so I don't run you over. I'll give you guys a little ear cream first. Baby, that sounds good. I told you I hate that. Wow, I gave myself no room still. Wonderful. Oh, B, goodbye. Someone doesn't buy the lift kit, he's gonna be upset. Well, don't mind if I do. Piece of f***ing shit. So guys, here you have a 4-inch lift coilover conversion for your F250, F350 Super Duties. If I open this box here, it's gonna look uber familiar. Look at these guys. These are almost identical to what I have on my truck because I have an 8-inch Ford lift on my truck. But I didn't want 14 inches of lift, so I got coilovers that match what need to be a 10 to 12-inch lift on this truck. On top of that, I have adjustable compression, which is really, really nice. We need some heavy artillery for a truck this size. Getting heavy things. Everybody thinks that I just magically have all the tools to do every job possible. No, it starts with one tool at a time. And you pick away and fill up your toolbox, which I also don't have. Some adapters so I can get my 1/2-inch impact to these 3/4-inch sockets. Picked up a 3/4-inch socket set to get the pitman arm nut off that bad boy. And 12-ton jack stands because they go up to 30 inches to get underneath the frame of a truck like that. Holy cow, these things are actually freaking huge. I've actually never bought 12-ton jack stands, nor used them, but I figure for trucks that big, and trucks what's gonna be this big, these might be necessary. Rear lift consists of 5-inch blocks. You're like, whoa, 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 hold the phone. 5-inch blocks for a 4-inch lift. Remember, you're taking out the factory 2, and pretty much you're lifting the rear 3. Lift kits usually lift the front, the advertised height, in the rear 1 inch lower. So a 6-inch lift is gonna be 6 front, 5 rear on most trucks, and you will still have a rake. That's why a lot of people nowadays run like 8-inch fronts and 6-inch rears, because it levels out the truck completely and you can run wider offset. But this is throwing me back to the first truck I ever lifted, which was in fact my F250 in a driveway. I was 16, buying tools as I go, and it just shows you that you can do this too. I'm not saying don't jump into something if you're definitely not comfortable with it, but there's instructions and it's a bunch of nuts and bolts, but be safe about it. Alright guys, so here's what we're dealing with. We got the truck frame on the jack stands. We got the jack under the axle. Axle is supported by the jack. We got 2 rear shocks off, and here's what we're running into. Like I said in the last video, this truck has aftermarket airbags on it by Airlift. Now Airlift does make a lift kit for your airbags as well, so you can put airbags on a lifted truck. That's a B. I'm gonna move. He's just gonna have to order those brackets and he'll get those in, and whenever they get in, he'll put them on himself. In the meantime, what we're gonna do is just disconnect the bracket, because the bracket for the airbags sits right on the lift block. So just disconnect that, disconnect this, and then we can take the U-bolts off and slip the new lift block in there and put the Fox shocks on, and then the rear is done. Yeah, that's how simple the rear lift is on this. I need a creeper. So I'm gonna give you some tips on installing a lift kit. Rule number 1, do not follow the instructions. I mean, for your first time, yes. Most people who write the instructions are so far backwards, it's unreal. So let me help you out here with rear leaf suspension. U-bolts, it's gonna tell you to do one side at a time. That is damn near impossible. Take the U-bolts off one side and loosen the U-bolts to the other side. Now I say loosen, but do not remove, because if you remove, the axle will roll on you. Not on you, well hopefully it doesn't roll on you, but it will roll forward. What you want to do is, you know, it's going to hold the axle vertically, but it'll allow it to pivot and you'll be able to line up your rear block so much easier. So let's get to that and honestly throw the shocks on and the rear's done. And see, with a little bit of pressure up on the axle, but the other U-bolts disconnected, you could just slide, kind of almost adjust this block right into place. If the other side was tight, this axle would have no give at all, and you'd be fighting it forever. So, okay, so I don't get why they do this. I mean, I get why they do it, so they only have to make one set of U-bolts for probably the 6 and 4 inch kits with both the 3 and 2 leaves, but that requires me to now cut some of these threads off so this socket can get up in there. I don't have an extra long 24, so I'm just going to cut some of these threads off and tighten it. Note to self, buy a bigger compressor. I don't think either the tank or the CFM was way too low, because this is taking forever. I haven't really used this cutoff wheel on this compressor compared to the old shop compressor, so definitely need a bigger one. And rinse and repeat on the other side. I do all my fancy shocks, like your upgraded shocks, your Fox, in the bag. Some of those shocks come pre-bushing, but I know the Fox shocks do not, so you're going to put those in yourself. However, I do them in the bag so you don't get the body of the shock all greasy and dirty. Okay guys, and there you have a little side perspective there of just the rear being lifted. It honestly looks so good. To be honest, you put a lift kit on anything and it looks darn good. This thing looks spectacular, and that's coming from a Ram owner. So yeah, honestly, just gonna tackle the front in the morning, and I actually can't wait till it's done. I know this is coming from a Ram owner, but this truck does look pretty darn good. What's up and good morning, guys. Obviously same outfit, different day. Get my morning dose of caffeine. It's probably really a bad thing, but I would have got out here earlier, but we're at that time of the year where it's cold in the mornings. Like, I mean, it was like 40 something degrees. I'm like, I'm not gonna be lifting a truck in 40 degrees. So the sun has finally, as you can see, crept on half the driveway. Truck's gonna be parked right there. So problem with that, I'm actually gonna pull my Hellcat out, because just in case something doesn't get finished on the front end of this and I can't move the truck today, I don't want my car to get stuck in here. Most people wouldn't think like that. Everyone's gonna think that, oh, I'm gonna put the lift on, everything's gonna go smooth, everything's gonna be done, which I do anticipate. We should have all the parts here, but some people wouldn't think that, then they go to drive the car later and they can't get it out. So just always think ahead. Big life move there. But it's time to start ripping this suspension apart. And these suspensions are quite simple to actually take apart. What we're going to do is we're going to get this coil spring out of here, which is already pretty much loose at this fully dropped angle, so we can start working side by side and getting these new radius arms in. This is probably the most difficult part of any of the new style suspension, aka coils, compared to the front lift kit. This is probably the most difficult part because it is so hard lining up 3 holes and an axle that's moving back and forth and crooked and stuff like that. Honestly, if you're confident enough to disconnect both at the same time and kind of move it and have somebody else here to like kind of ease it into place, be my guest. Honestly, I'm the only one here right now, so with a hammer and a jack and able to like slowly move and tap things into place. Radius arms went in. A little bit of work, but just fine. Okay, so these new Fords, the steering stabilizer is built into the drag link. This thing is stuck in here. This thing ain't coming out. So I'm gonna heat this, spray some seafoam deep creep in here, knock it out with a hammer. That should come out just fine. This drag link, stuck in the pitman arm. This and the pitman arm itself come off just fine and easy if you use a pitman arm puller, or even you can use a different puller for this, but I am not buying a second puller when I can use the same pitman arm puller to knock this out. Same concept. I'm going to heat the bottom, don't heat the top, you're going to burn the bushing. Seafoam deep creep, and I'm going to press this out. Once that's out, I'm going to take this nut off and take the old pitman arm off. I'll try and show you as much of this process as I can. Okay, like I said, the drag link is such a pain. They always get stuck in these things. I don't know why. But what we're going to do is we're going to end up taking this off and trying to get this at a better angle on the ground. Usually once it's on the ground, you can either pound it out or do something else, but we're going to get this nut off. Okay, so when I got the jack stands at Harbor Freight, I also picked up this gigantic 3/4 inch, yes, that's right, 3/4 inch socket set. These things are actually massive. It's like $65 for this socket set, but look at these sockets. Obviously, I mean 2-inch and stuff, got some crazy big sizes, but this 1 13/16 is gonna take off the pitman arm nut on that truck. So you need a socket this big. So as you can see, 1/2 inch impact, 3/4 inch socket. Come on. It's freaking tight, man. There we go. Done, we got it. Okay, that nut's probably real hot. But yes, there you go. They don't mess around. Oh, I'm so used to working on new trucks. I mean, this has got 50K on it. It's an 18, but still, this pitman arm, dude, pitman arms just don't want to come off ever. So we're gonna just torch it till it pops, I guess. It's got so much tension on it with this pitman arm puller because it keeps slipping off the other side. I'm probably gonna torch it, and it's probably gonna pop, and I'm probably gonna poop myself, but. Oh, my arm's getting tired from holding this torch. There we go. Well, a whole tank of MAP gas later, and that didn't do anything. Let me try and tighten it some more. It's probably gonna just frickin' bust off here. Oh, wait. Is it? Oh, sweet Lord, thank you. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Come on. I am not going to touch this either because I'm going to freaking brand myself with a Ford Pitman arm. I don't want to do that. Goodness. Oh, just fall off. Please. Alright, and there it is. Whew. Look at that. Just the most little bit of corrosion on there, and the thing gets stuck. Oh, that is not fun. Alright. Okay, so it's the same concept with this end of the Pitman arm. It was just stuck in there, so I heated it up, beat it with a hammer, and then tightened this like twice, and it slid off. So, but Pitman arm is off, and now it's legit time just to put everything back together. These are the Ready Lift sway bar drops. We're just going to switch them with the BDS sway bar drops, and we'll be good to go. For the coilover mounts, it's a little different on this. I'm thankful BDS just realized you can take this coil mount off and bolt the new one on. And then up top, we're going to have to do some modification to cut this off, drill some holes, and put the new one on. Okay, so we're going to put the lower coilover mount on here. This is actually simple. Some leveling kits for these trucks actually do the same thing. They just lift the bottom pedestal up instead of putting a spacer on top. Kind of sketchy in my opinion, but besides the fact this, not sketchy at all. There's just a bolt in there that comes off. I'm going to take my finger and brush all this crap out of here. And then your new mount. And this changes it straight over to a coilover mount. Alright, so what we're dealing with here is pretty much all our new brackets are on. Our drop Pitman arm is here. Drag link is reattached. Sway bar is on. So now here we go. This is a huge area still for the new coilover to fit in. So I'm not worried about this stuff being a hindrance to putting that in. Because once in the morning I gotta go to Home Depot. I'm gonna get a Sawzall blade. I'm gonna cut this off. Then you drill 3 holes and mount this up here. And then you can put your new coil, which is your coilover, back in there and attach your I did find there are in fact helper shocks and dual steering stabilizers, so he's doing it completely right. So we're also going to attach those in the morning. To be honest, if that Pitman arm and drag link weren't such a hindrance, we would have been done. We would have been done already. But those components, like I said, they always get stuck. Just like any suspension modification, you could just see the graveyard of stock parts. However, if you guys are just new to the channel, yes, black hands. I have every single last stock part and almost every stock nut and bolt. I had to cut a few to make my own weld nuts and stuff for certain things because there was no bolts that size. But I have almost every stock part, nut, bolt, gasket, everything I took off that truck. Because first of all, you'd be surprised at how many people are like looking for stock Ram suspension. So if I ever got down to the point where I needed to sell it, you have it. Most people just toss it out. So just if you guys are doing lifts, keep all your stock parts. Alright, so day 3 on this ordeal, mainly because I had to pick these up in the morning at Home Depot. We got to cut the upper coil buckets off this truck, but most people don't realize that Sawzall blades will not last you long and they'll take forever. As soon as they dull out, it'll take you forever. I do in fact recommend buying expensive, thick metal cutting blades. These things last me forever. A pack of these for 2 months, these things last forever, and I did lift kits daily, and every 1500 needs cut, so exactly. These last so much longer, it's definitely worth the investment. A couple extra bucks. We're gonna get to cutting this bucket off, putting these upper coilover mounts on, and getting those on, and finishing this truck up. Alright guys, I'm looking like a freaking hot mess right now, but this thing, not gonna lie, it's not kicking my butt. But these upper coilover mounts, I'm not gonna tell you they're easy to put in. Definitely not. Quite difficult. This back bolt here, you like gotta remove this little computer module like up on top, and it's like doesn't want to bend out of the way to get that back ball in there, so it's super hard. These other ones are kind of just tight up here. It'd be easier to get this liner off, but these flares around here, I don't want to take those off and then get the liner out, but it's a nice and clean setup. I mean, it looks darn good. I'm gonna put those Fox shocks in. This video still, if you're still at this point, I'm gonna give you guys a ride quality test. Obviously, compare this truck to this truck. I mean, same exact coilover, so we'll see how this one rides in comparison to my big truck on 40s and a 12-inch lift. But we're getting there, we're cleaning up. So I mean, obviously, like I said, the upper coilover mounts fought with me, as you could tell. Trust me, I'm happy it's done, but it did give me a little fight. All right, guys, you can tell I'm a little more beat up than the last clip. However, here's how she sits. Obviously on the 35s, however, track bar still needs to go in the morning. Radius upper bolts and dual steering stabilizer is going on in the morning as well. If this was a coil lift, we would have been down a long time ago, because the coils would have went back in and just been fine. But because you had to modify it for the coilovers, it takes a little longer, but the results are definitely worth it. But this thing looks super sharp. So I'm gonna come out in the morning, finish this up, and we're gonna take it for a ride, and I'll let you guys know how she does. Alright guys, here it is, literally all finished up. Everything back together. Threw these on this morning. Here are your dual steering stabilizers. Brackets are kind of similar to my Ram, same concept. U-bolts on pretty much everywhere, middle and both sides. So I have a video on my channel installing them on that truck. So if you want to figure out how to install this, or kind of the same concept, I do have a video all the way back about these. But highly recommended, especially on trucks like this, especially when he's going 37s and 13 wides. Honestly, game changer. This thing goes straight down the highway, no problem. I still have the BDS kit on here. I'm waiting for my new ones to come in. I could put my purple brackets on. So definitely an expensive add-on, but also worth it. Next thing, there we go. We got the 2-wheel drive valence installed too. It looks freaking sweet compared to the 4-wheel drive one, because that one was so thick and gaudy. These coilovers definitely give this truck an awesome ride. Just hitting normal bumps and stuff, like we took same exact roads we took to get here, it rode so much smoother. Like I said, I have it tuned all the way down for him, so it's softest ride possible. He can stiffen it if he wishes. The new radius arms on here look so much better as well, and obviously he had the Ready Lift leveling kit on here, so it only went up 2 more inches in theory. Same thing with the rear, but the truck just looks so much better. Anything lifted looks so much better. So he doesn't need a huge truck. You want your truck lifted and you're deciding between 4 and 6. If you think, you know, you want a lifted truck, honestly, it's the same amount of work to do 4 or 6 inches. I personally would just pick the 6. I did the 4 on my first truck, and that was a big truck to me. So obviously now, I mean, that thing's huge, but this looks clean. That looks lifted. So it's kind of the look you want. If you want somewhere in between, 6 or 8 would probably be good for you. But all right, guys, there you go. 4-inch coilover lift, BDS on a, I believe it's an 18 F350 Super Duty Powerstroke. Honestly, looks clean. But if you guys haven't been here before, please get down there, click subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, shoot this video a thumbs up. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.